Yo, Peace was good. You read the title. You guys know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about my thoughts on Eminem's new album, the Revival album. Alright, so before I get into that, I want to talk to you guys about who Eminem is for those who don't know. Because there's some, believe it or not, there are people that don't know who Eminem is. So don't be ignorant. Be like, how can you not know who Eminem is? Believe it or not, some people out there might not know who Eminem is. So this is for you guys. Alright? For those people, I should say. For those who don't know who Eminem is, he's an MC from Detroit, Michigan. He got his start back in the late 80s, early 90s. But before he became a solo artist, he was actually part of a group called Soul Intent. And they put out a couple of albums which were, cassette only. For what I understand, they're collector's item, heavily sought after and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure some of those songs you can find on YouTube because you have, because Eminem has a big fan base, so I'm pretty sure some of those songs you can hear on YouTube and stuff like that. The only thing I've heard from the Soul Intent is a song called Bitophobia, which is pretty good actually, like that. They had their little run. They had a 7-year run. I think they formed like back in like '88 or '89 or some shit like that, and they broke up in '95. And like I said, I think they put out like 3 albums or whatever. Like I said, cassette only. And after 1995, Eminem started working on his debut album, which would be called Infinite, which I do have a copy of. I bought it way back in 2001. This is before the hype for Infinite was big, you know what I mean? Like until like recent years. But the asshole that sold it to me on eBay, it was actually a CDR. It wasn't the official album. It was like a bootleg, but that's neither here or there. Really enjoyed that album. I really like the dark production on that album. Is really dope. His rhyming styles was pretty different at that time. Compared to his signature flow that he's known today. Eminem, when he first started rapping, like on Infinite, his flow definitely reminded me of like something like of a Nas, an AZ kind of like his whole flow was a kind of AZ influence. You can tell just listening to it. Like I said, the production, like I like the production, but like from I guess like a broader standpoint, I think people would say it sucks because it's not really the best production. You could tell it's like demo-ish kind of ordeal, like not amateurish, but it definitely has like that demo feel. And me personally, I like that kind of shit. I like the bare stripped down beats that Infinite has. Some people might not like that, but that's neither here or there. And then in 1997 or '98, he had dropped a Slim Shady EP, which is what got him discovered by Dr. Dre. Because in '97 he was part of an event called the Rap Olympics, and then that was the same. I think that was the same event that he battled Cannabis, and he also battled. I could be wrong on the Cannabis, but it was either Cannabis he battled or he battled Juice from Chicago, MC Juice from Chicago, and there's speculations that Juice beat Eminem, but there's a lot of speculations towards that and stuff like that. But anyways, getting back to the Slim Shady EP, that's what got him discovered by Dr. Dre, because Dr. Dre somehow got his hands on that EP. He liked what he heard, called Eminem, flew him to LA, and stuff like that. And then from then on, that's when he started working on his major label debut, the Slim Shady LP, which dropped in 1999. And that was the world's mainstream introduction to Eminem was that album, Slim Shady LP. On that album, Slim Shady LP, there are a couple of songs from the Slim Shady EP that went on to that was submitted to Slim Shady LP, like songs like And If I Had, I think the song Just Don't Give a Fuck was on the Slim Shady EP, but I think the only difference is on the EP they had it was the beats are different, but I think the lyrics are the same. It's been a while since I heard the EP, but I think the LP had a different beat than the EP. So, but I personally prefer the beat on the LP over the EP. I just feel like the one on the LP on the album, the studio album, it fits better with the subject matter and stuff like that. So, but it came out with songs like that song, My Name Is, which was pretty big. That song made me a fan of Eminem. When I first heard that shit, I was like, yo, that shit is tough. I like the song. I like it a lot. I like how it sounded. Something different, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of fans that say that that's his best album. I could see why people would think that, and then after the success of Slim Shady LP, and I believe in the summer of 2000s when he dropped the Marshall Mathers LP. Little secret with you guys, that I don't think I shared with you guys. Oh, I think I did. Um, the Marshall Mathers LP was the first hip hop album that I ever bought with my own money. So, I thought I'd just throw that out there. So, yeah, so it was like the first album that I bought with my own money, and that I owned. So, but obviously that's not the first hip hop album that I've heard, because I've heard other albums like Tribes, Midnight Marauders, the Gangsta albums back in the day and stuff like that. So Naughty by Nature and all that shit. Let me get through the water. Then in 2000, I think it was, like I said, it was the summer of 2000. Eminem came out with the Marshall Mathers LP, which would be his second studio album, which realistically would be his third because Infinite came out in '96. But the Infinite was more of a regional, independent album. So, but anyways, getting back to the Marshall Mathers LP, he dropped that. It gained a lot of fame, but a lot of controversy too because, he was dissing a lot of, he dissed, a lot of people that shitted on him in the past. He was dissing, he dissed his own mom. He dissed, his baby mother, Kim. He dissed, a lot of celebrities like, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, just like the easy targets he would diss. And I used to play that album so much. Like, I really loved that album. That's all I played. Like, you could not tell me anything about that album. I thought that was like, oh, he was like one of the best MCs of all time. And yeah, I know, I was delusional at that time. But that's neither here nor there. And yeah, it gained a lot of praise. And there's people that say that the Marshall Mathers LP is his best album. People say the Slim Shady LP is his best album. Me personally, I like the first two albums. I mean, besides Infinite, but if you're talking about, major label albums, I would have to say the first two albums are my favorite from Eminem. And then getting back to Marshall Mathers LP, 2001 going to 2002, Eminem, he started working on his third album, which was the Eminem Show. But around that time, he was working on the 8 Mile movie that came out that same year, 2002. The Eminem Show was kind of like a promotion towards the movie. So I thought, it was nice how that coincided together. And 2002, he dropped 8 Mile, but he also dropped the Eminem Show. In the Eminem Show, the difference with the album was the production. You can tell that Eminem, he gained a more of a production role, like on that album. Like, he did most of the beats on the album, whereas in the first two albums, Dr. Dre and the Bass Brothers and DJ Head were doing the production on the first two albums. But then on the Eminem Show, he started doing most of the production and stuff like that. That album, to me, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I felt like was the beginning of the demise of Eminem's shit. Is like when he started to fall off. He had, the Eminem Show, like, I just wasn't too fond of that album. It was okay, but it was very commercial-esque. It was very MTV. It was geared towards MTV. It's just, oh my god, like that album, like I can't even listen to it today. Let alone I can't even listen to any of his albums like that, you know. Let alone Marshall Mathers LP and some shit LP. But I'll get into that later on. But the Eminem show, it's just to me, like I said, it was just so bad, man. Like you got songs like, I mean, Superman was cool. Like I like that song a lot. But the cleaning out my closet, it was just, oh my god, I hated that shit. I remember like when I moved down here to Florida in 2002. Um, there was a radio station, a local radio station that we used to listen to on the school bus and shit. And they would play like, you know, like the top 40, like the hip hop songs, the R&B songs, the pop songs and stuff like that. And they would always play this clip of this old lady calling to the radio show, radio show, and she would sing her version of "Cleaning Out My Closet." No bullshit. Like it was like, oh my god, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It was too much for me. It was, like I said, very radio friendly, very safe and stuff like that. And supposedly the Eminem show was like his most personal one of his most personal albums and stuff like that. But around that time is when he started really getting addicted to drugs, mostly pills. You know, he got really addicted. His drug addiction really spiraled out of control around that time because, you know, from him working on the album, also working on the movie 8 Mile, you know, there'd be times where like he would not sleep, and then he had a dependence on those pills like Vicodin, Valium, and Ambien, which is very addictive and stuff like that. So he would sleep maybe like 2-3 hours at a time, and most of the time he would sleep. He would be very manic. He would have like manic behavior and stuff like that. And then going towards 2003, going on to 2004, he was working on Encore, which is his fourth album, or fifth if you want to count Infinite. And Encore was like the beginning of the end. And it was just so bad, man. I mean, Encore was just like, what are you doing, Em? Like he had songs like Ass Like That. Like, not in a million years you would think you had a song called Ass Like That by Eminem. And it was just too much, man. It was getting way too childish, very juvenile. Although he did have a song called Mosh, which was pretty much him shitting on Bush, because at that time Bush was in office, or he was on his way to office and stuff like that. And you know, his critiques toward the Bush administration at the time, and it was like, you know, very political, you know, for Eminem. It was like the first time we ever heard Eminem going to that steez and stuff like that. And after that, he kind of took a break from music, you know, and stuff like that. By that time, he was really heavy into his drug addiction and stuff like that. And then I think around 2000 and going to 2008, that's when he checked himself into rehab. And, you know, he got himself clean. He's been clean since 2008, so that's great for him for almost 10 years. You know, not a lot of people could say that. And, you know, again, like I probably told you guys before, I've worked in the drug rehab. I've worked in that field, so in that industry, and you know, I've seen firsthand what drugs could do to addicts, and I've dealt with that in my life too, because I had family members that fell victim to drug addiction. So, you know, I could definitely, you know, relate to, you know, a lot of stuff that he talks about. Not that I'm not in recovery or anything like that. I never did drugs, but just the shit that I saw other people go through as far as like drug addiction and stuff like that. So that's what I mean by what I could relate to. And going on to 2008, going on to 2009, he had dropped his fifth album, Relapse. It again, another album that I couldn't tolerate. It was just too much for me. It was very childish, and then he adopted like a fake Irish accent. It's like, I kill you. Like it was too much, bro. I just couldn't deal with it. It's just very unbearable to listen to. It just, I couldn't get into it. And then, he came out with Recovery, which the same year, 2009 going to 2010, he dropped out Recovery, which were pretty much leftover tracks of Relapse, because originally Recovery was going to be called Relapse 2, but then he changed the name to Recovery. But it just, Recovery was just so bad to listen to. And it's like, it's in the album, like, I understand that he was very mature for him. You know, he kind of like put away his childish behavior, got more mature. But it was like a very safe album for Eminem. You know what I mean? It was like very singy, songy, a lot of ballads and stuff like that. He would work with people like Pink and, people like that, and it's just like, oh, Eminem, like, what the fuck, man? It's like, I really can't get into that shit, man. Like, I really tried listening to Recovery. I can't get into it, man. It's just, oh. Then he took a break, like a 2-3 year break. Then he dropped the Marshmallows LP Part 2 in 2013. That was no better. And again, I hate when artists try to do sequel albums to their first album. It never usually works. And Marshmallows LP 2, it was no better. And then going towards 2017, he took a 4-year break, and then he get into Revival. But before I get into Revival, around, I think like 2 months ago, we had the BET Cypher, right? And there's been this whole hoopla of him doing this so-called freestyle, about him hating Trump and things like that. My opinion on that, it was cool, but I just felt like it wasn't really a freestyle. It was more of a slam poetry session. That's what I got from it. Like, it's just because the reason why, because he wasn't really flowing. He was more of, it was a lot of pauses, and a lot of people that do slam poetry tend to do that. So that's why I called it more of slam poetry session. A lot of people call it a freestyle. Oh, the freestyle's whack. The freestyle's whack. Yeah, no shit, because it wasn't a freestyle. It was a slam poetry session. You know what I mean? And then, just him, fucking digging Trump a new asshole, rightfully so, and stuff like that. But there's been a lot of controversy towards that because, people saying that, oh, Eminem, he's white, and, who is he to talk about black people's issues and da 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 da. And I get what people say about that. I agree to an extent, but it was good enough to see a profile artist like himself at that stature to talk about what's going on in the hip hop, in the black community. But he wasn't the first nigga to do it. That's where a lot of people get shit twisted, because a lot of people were saying like, oh, Eminem was the first nigga to talk about Black Lives Matter and the black no, nigga, like, Public Enemy was doing that, was talking about that in the 80s and 90s. Brand Nubian was talking about that. If you want to go recent, Dead Prez and people like that. But if you want to keep it a buck, you had that cat from the West Coast, from the Bay Area, YG, had a song "Fuck Donald Trump," but you really hear people talk about that song. Like, even though that was a dope song, I like that song. It had like a nice G-Funk vibe to it, like an early 90s G-Funk feel to it. But I don't think the song really got any burn like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was popular for a little bit, but you don't really hear too many people talk about that album. I mean, that song, Fuck Donald Trump. So Eminem was not the first nigga to do that, but it's because of somebody of his stature is why people will pay attention to that, and the platform he did it on, which was the BET Cyphers. So that's why he got a lot of notoriety towards with that and stuff like that. Now getting into Revival. So Revival is an album. It's his latest album. It's supposed to drop tomorrow, but it leaked, so I got the leaked version. So it is what it is, whatever. So I listened to it, and put it like this: it's 77 minutes too long. It's 77 minutes that I can't get back. Okay? That's how bad that album is. And to me, I felt like Revival. It kind of, if you guys like Recovery sound wise and content wise, then you would like Revival. You know what I mean? Because in Revival, he talks a lot. He deals with a lot of he gets political again on that album, on this album Revival, but he also talks about you know, relationship issues and things like that. But what I didn't like about the album is obviously the production, but I hated the fact that a lot of the songs have that. It reminded me of a whole album of Disney ballads with curses on it. That's the best way I could describe Revival. A whole bunch of Disney ballads with curses. That's all it is, in my opinion. Yes, the content, you know, is decent. I like the content, but the production didn't really help it, and just his rhyming, and then just him rapping over trap beats and like pop ballads. It's just, oh my god, it's just. I understand people trying to evolve, which I fucking hate, because when people say they rap, oh, you can't be mad at him because he's trying to evolve. No, it's just another way of niggas trying to make money. Just say you want to make money, and I can respect that. Now, evolving to me is when you try different stuff, but you still keep your same style, if that makes it, without compromising. You know what I mean? Whether it's the way you rap, but you rap over different styles of production, or you rap over the same style of production that you're used to rapping, but you have different topics to talk about. That to me is evolving. Not when you're trying to make fucking pop songs for radio play and, you know, talk about, oh, he's evolved. No, nigga, you're just trying to make money. So just say it like that. And Revival, like I said, I hope will be his last album that he ever drops. I know that's kind of harsh, because I always commend rappers or MCs, you know, from the latter years, you know, from the 90s and 80s. If you still got it, you still got it. But at this point, I feel like Eminem, at this point in his age, he shouldn't have to rap anymore. Like, he should be like an A&R. He should be putting different artists on. He should be scouting artists, different MCs, and you know, just, you know, putting out, you know, dope MCs and putting their projects out. One good thing that came out of it, he signed Westside Gunn and Conway, and I fucks with them heavy. And I'm looking forward to the Conway's new his debut album, the GOAT, the grimiest of all time. It's supposed to drop on Christmas Day, so I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be pretty interesting. So that's pretty much my thoughts on Revival, man. It's just, to me, it's a lot of people say it's Recovery Part 2. I tend to agree with that, because that's exactly what it sounded like. It sounded like leftover tracks of Recovery, even though Recovery was leftover tracks with Relapse. But Recovery and, you know, Revival tend to have more pop ballads, and like I said, it's just pop ballads with curses. That's the best way that I can describe Revival. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for it, but I don't give a fuck. It's just my opinion. Now, I know some of you guys are gonna ask me my thoughts on Eminem. I think he's dope. I don't put him in high standards like most people do. That's just me. He's very talented. I can't take that away from him. I do appreciate the contribution he brought into hip hop. You know, I do respect that. I'll be a hater if I didn't. You know what I mean? But just Eminem, I'm just so tired of hearing your music, man. It's just, and then one of my subscribers that's on Facebook, that I'm friends with on Facebook, I'm not gonna put his name out. He made a good point, because he said he had the same sentiments of how I feel about Eminem. He said that the more people praise Eminem, even especially his early shit, is the more I like his music less. And that's how I feel too, because I can't. It's to the point, like, I can't even listen to some shit LP or Marshall's LP. Like, I can't even listen to those albums anymore. Let alone the Eminem Show. I just can't listen to them. It's just, those albums never aged very well. You know what I mean? It's just like they're not timeless music. You know what I mean? It's not music that it's very dated, and I usually don't say that with a lot of music, but his music is very dated. You know, you can tell they were made in the '90s, but not in a good way. You know, but that's neither here or there. But that's it, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I was gonna do a CD collection video, but I'm waiting for more CDs to come in the mail. So when those CDs come in the mail, then I'll do them, and I might do an album review either tonight or tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned for that. Alright, hope you guys enjoy it. Peace.